Yo. Yep. This is where we're at. Street Fighter 6 received a new DLC fighter. Alex and his now wife Patricia were always depicted as members of a found family. Alex was orphaned as a boy and taken as by his mother's cousin, Tom, which meant he and Patricia were raised as adoptive siblings. And again, now they're preparing to welcome a baby. While we have not changed the characters' backstories, after internal review by the development team, we plan to revise certain text passages that may have been misleading in the near future. Huh? Your son turned out to be a fine man. Oh, excuse me. You know, when I first met your boy, I could still hold Patricia in one arm. He was just like you, a spit and vinegar. Spit and vinegar. Trying to play the tough guy. The man swung his head and laughed. Don't stop. You should have seen. You should have seen him the first time I let him hold Patricia. I had no idea what to do. He'd spent so long learning to fight people bigger and stronger than him that he was totally lost on how to. Patricia wanted to be just like him, always following him around, begging for attention. It worried me, if I'm being honest. Much as I loved Alex, he's not exactly a perfect role model, but honestly, he kept his distance. Never. Especially your boy. Around the time he went to high school, I scrounged up enough cash to buy him an old pickup. He poured his soul into that piece of junk, worked on it every day too. I wasn't always there for Patricia. Damn, dead be dead. Yeah, he turned to the seat next to him and continued. She got herself into real always can. He did what I couldn't. Even. Y'all hear that? I've got the best son-in-law in the world. Okay. I mean, I have time to absorb it a little bit. I don't know how important a fictional fighting game character's story is. I think with the more I truly think now that I've looked into it a little bit more, the big difference here is the differences in cultures. It's not it's not good. It's not good. Damn. Let me see. think another. Oh no, that's what it was. Shout out to Shay Jam. Yeah, so I'm gonna check this out real quick.
I have a question.
Hey, what's up, everybody? So as you may know, I covered the Arc World Tour Finals very recently, where there was a playable build of Marvel Token. I looked at a lot of the footage on the show floor, and I didn't get to go because I was at home commentating Guilty Gear. Arc System Works hit me up, and they're like, hey, I know you didn't get to come out here into Korea because you were covering the event for us. Would you like to come to the office? We have a build. So I got to play for a little bit of time. I didn't have training mode. It was the exact same build that was over at the Arc World Tour Finals. All the gameplay is not mine. I could not record, so they sent me over some B-roll footage for you guys to take a look at. So this is all their stuff. You may know that when I played Marvel Token before, I thought the visual presentation of the game was amazing. I'm really excited for all the things about the game except the gameplay. And all of the system changes.
I really loved the gameplay. Did not. No, I should retcon that. I really loved the movement, but not the gameplay.
That they made are really nice. I am very impressed.
It is cool for the first couple hours, and well, I should say in the first beta it was cool for the first couple hours, and then once I realized that there's not a whole lot of variety here, movement was still cool, but that could have been just because I was playing Storm too. So
Instead of before, like whenever you would call an assist when you're in a combo or you're making contact with your opponent on block, you would get a generic rush assist. They made it so that you can now, if you'd like, call your character's unique assist, which is really great. Call your unique assist, which is like multi-hitting web zip for Spider-Man, then air dash over and do mix-ups or do falling high-low, whatever. There was a lot of combo examples or things that I tried that was not possible before that you can do now, which is really fun. Another system change they made is that the tag is 10 frames faster, which is very noticeable when you're setting up mix-ups and doing stuff. It feels way better. The tag itself, you can see the tag when you're turning into a new character, so
that was the other thing too. No, it was fun overall, but the whole idea of it being 4v4, I felt like it was when they first announced it and they said it's 4v4, but you can play it as just one character and have 3 assists also. Felt like they really went harder towards that because it didn't feel like tagging to other characters didn't really work. It worked, but it felt like I was having to wait a few seconds to go do what I needed to do. Yeah, I the fact that they sped that up though, you actually get real assists when you're in the air now. The gameplay is fun, presentation's decent. I think the cinematics, especially for like the hyped up supers, are phenomenal. Yeah, and to be honest, the change that I heard that they made was the one that was biggest actually for me, other than just being able to tag a little more freely or call assists more freely, was the wall splats. Or I don't know what you call them in Guilty Gear. I'm not a Guilty Gear guy, but I felt like every time I got my enemy into the corner and say they were low health, I was getting ready to end whatever combo I was doing, and they would just crash through the wall, and then the combo would be over. Whereas I could have finished them, but yeah, I heard they fixed that though, so it's only I can't remember what the change was, but you only wall break in certain situations now. No, it's actually, I can tell you it's not the exact opposite. So you're saying it looks like low skill floor and very low ceiling. It's extremely low skill floor, at least from what I played. And by saying low skill floor, it's very easy to get into, and not really know everything, but just to jump in and start jumping around and hitting buttons. It's very easy to do that. But now they made auto combos do half damage basically. Um, they made a lot of improvements in terms of the technicalities of it, which no, it's very, very low skill floor, but the ceiling is there's there's a huge high ceiling. Even with some of the stuff from the original beta or beta 2 that Sonic Fox and them were discovering about. And that's the crazy thing. Sonic Fox and them were discovering mix-ups that you could do with the tag system. And it was so difficult to do because of the way tagging was kind of being impaired upon from the gameplay, that now the stuff they were doing is a little bit more accessible. But yeah, I think the ceiling is I personally have the opinion, I think the ceiling on this game, especially with these new improvements, is going to be massive. It's going to be like maybe not MVC2 levels of, 20 years later people are still finding new things, but it's up there.
Parts not a mix up, but let's say I like do a projectile, tag into Doctor Doom, Doctor Doom's dash goes through you, and suddenly I'm doing like left right stuff. That is much better. Another thing is you can call assist in the air. I cannot tell you how much better this felt. I thought it would feel good. It felt better than that. Being able to call assist in the air felt amazing. I spent so much time just jumping with Wolverine and then calling an assist in the air and using that as my air approach and air dashing, or using my air mobility or air movement option. The game felt so much more vertical and so much more interesting than last time because I could use my assist more in the air. I could tag more actively because of it, because the tag is faster as well, and set things up with my air character. So many more messed up, cool situations get to happen. The game reminds me a bit more of how active tag is in other games, where it's a
When I was listening to Max talk about this as well, he was saying nobody was playing this chick. She was the most complex and confusing character to play, sort of like how Gen was first perceived in Street Fighter 4.
a bit more powerful and present, and you can do cool mix
Or like Sanko and MVC3, or yeah.
ups. I was kind of worried because they made it so that when you tag out
Not
characters,
bad,
they
just
don't retain overhead and low properties anymore, which is a good change. But I was worried that the mix-ups might be a little weak in the game. The faster tag really helps, I think, establish better mix-up options. I was playing the dev. He would like put the Doom shield out, sandwich me left, right, and then Iron Man flight twerk in the air with the shield out, and I was like, oh my god. I didn't realize that Iron Man DP is flight cancelable, and he gets a full combo on hit, and it's invincible. And if it whiffs, he can fly cancel and fly away and start calling assists in the air now. Genuinely, I'm surprised. I thought I would go in and be like, this is better, but the system changes, I think I underestimated how big they are. Let's talk about the characters. I will tell you up front, Danger seems like a character that takes a brain to operate. She has like multi-set projectiles that she can put on the screen. She kind of has like Venom.
Being honest, that is the one thing that kind of worries me though about this game thriving competitively is yeah, but the other thing is, now that assists are more easily to be called out, um, does that mean that newer players specifically are just going to be able to do basically at any one given time? There's probably going to be like 7 or 8 characters on screen all at once, all attacking, all throwing shit out. Like, is it going to turn into a mess? Because you can literally just, if you're standing on the ground, and now if you're in the air, you can just, forward assist, down assist, right assist, depending on which one you want. But if you want all your assists to come out, you can just hit the assist button and all 3 will come back to back to back to back. So if you do that, 1, 2, 3, the other guy does that 1, 2, 3. Now there's 4 characters on screen, and if blocking works more like infinite blocking for so long, pretty much enables an auto block. No, yeah, I get what you're saying now. Basically, from what I've seen, and then I was listening to Max's breakdown of it too. He basically said it very much feels like Dragon Ball Fighters, but just without those infinite sort of block string situations and without the super dash. And with its obvious own things. I don't know.
Bounce and stuff where like you want to shoot them and then they bounce other things and like move around. She has like hover dash forward, shoot a diagonal down projectile to bounce to hit a ball set on the screen like Venom. Like it's basically like Venom with Eno's hover dash. I don't have the time in a test like this to explore that deep, so I messed with her a little bit and I was like, this is really cool. When I have training mode at some point, I'll try this. Let me try Magic and Wolverine. So let's start with Magic. She's a big mid-range sword character. She can set a portal above her.
I know nothing about this chick. Apparently she is like god tier in this. I really liked DBFZ. There was other stuff going on, both gaming and real life wise at that time, that I couldn't really devote a whole lot of time to it. But I really did enjoy it. It just, for me, the super dash and the terrible online environment along with super dash kind of ruined it for me.
Her close, far, or above and far. And out of the portal, you can teleport behind them, in front of them, above them. You can also do your special moves through the portal. You can shoot a fireball through it. You can do your pillar, and the pillar can be close, medium, or far. And if it interacts with it, then it like shoots a new homing pillar on top of them wherever they're on the screen. Close, medium, above, far. So let's start. Cool. When I have training mode at some point, I'll try this. Let me try Magic.
I want to hear what he says.
So let's start with Magic. She's a big mid-range sword character. She can set a portal above her, close, far, or above and far. And out of the portal, you can teleport behind them, in front of them, above them. You can also do your special moves through the portal. You can shoot a fireball through it. You can do your pillar, and the pillar can be close, medium, or far. And if it interacts with it, then it like shoots a new homing pillar on top of them wherever they are on the screen. She can also just do like an attack through it, like a dive kick or like a swipe. This is what I would do. I would place portal, call my Wolverine, fireball assist, cross up teleport. Also, because
that's the craziest thing too, is that Wolverine has a projectile now. Hold on, I maybe missed it in the context of this video.
Pillar, and the pillar can be close, medium, or far. And if it interacts with it, then it like shoots a new homing pillar on top of them wherever they are on the screen. She can also just do like an attack through it, like a dive kick or like a swipe. This is what I would do. I would place portal, call my Wolverine, fireball assist, cross up teleport. Also, because of the way combos work with like the wall, if you slump someone, you have time to set up before they like tech. Double slash, portal set, call your assist, which doesn't combo, but like it puts them in block stun. Teleport behind, above, whatever. Like you can do stuff like that. It's also very strong. She kind of gets shot a little bit in neutral by.
He has Leo's projectile from Guilty Gear. You're assuming I know what Leo's projectile from Guilty Gear or any move in Guilty Gear is.
Zoning, but she has a very fast fireball, a great mid-range, really high set play potential. I think looks scary to deal with on block as well, because like she can set up a portal, she can teleport behind you. Like if you give her space, she seems really scary. Wolverine is the most feral little guy. It's what you expect. Fast, he has tons of armor on stuff. He is so hard to get off of. He was so fun. His air dash H is a double hitting air swipe move, and I was just flailing with that move a lot, and it was really good. His unique move is like a Rekka, and he can do like a finisher, and that gives him Berserker Rage. He goes like, ah, and it enhances that move if you do it again. And also the game has like Gray Life now. That was there before, but not really as impactful, and he recovers more Gray Life because he's Wolverine. So like you can go in Berserker Rage and then get like tons of Gray Life back, and you like heal. He's just a rush down fast mix up guy, really hard to deal with, really quick. If you just dash light, he does like a little low kick, and like you can just like stick to someone. His Rekka forward and down are an overhead and low option, and you can call assist to combo off of it. If you're in like Berserker Rage already, he can combo off them alone. Good luck getting this character away from you. He's a real dangerous little guy. Him having an air dash instead of a dive kick makes him so much scarier. I feel like if Marvel 3 Wolverine had an air dash, that guy would be 20x better. I'm not gonna lie to you. The other thing that I really liked was the mind games around how you spend resources now. I thought, okay, you basically always want a wall break, because wall break gives you a hard knockdown and it gives you one of the assist pips. So I was like, you always want to do this. But what I realized is like, if I already have full resources, I can just super hard knockdown, keep you in the corner, use those pips to start mixing you up. There's more interesting decision making around how you would like
Ah,
to do these combos and use resources for your
I
character.
like
Do I have
that.
a character in that has like a move?
I like that a lot, actually. That means that was something I did a lot in Street Fighter 4. I did in a lot of fighting games, but I remember it specifically. Well, maybe Street Fighter 4 is in my brain because that's the one I discovered that sort of a aspect in, is where if you have your opponent in like a crumple state from a focus attack, do you, depending on their health, their resources, your health, your resources, do you want to like, are you able to finish them off, or do you just want to do like the max damage, or do you want to set them up? In Street Fighter 4 specifically, when you would hit them with a focus attack, you could let them like drop to their knees first, and then if you hit them, it would like kind of kick them up in the air, and then you could, depending on what character you're playing, obviously you could do something like Hakan, for instance. You could do like a crouching light punch into a slide, and then as they get kicked up in the air, you slide underneath, and you end up on the other side. Yeah, it. So that's kind of cool for wall breaks. They still happen, but now you can actually decide, like, I want to just mix them up, or do I want to actually go for the hard knockdown wall break?
That auto breaks the wall, because I might.
One thing I hope they did fix, though, is if somebody's getting ready to be wall broke, if you're like, hey, they're low on health, but not quite low enough that I could finish them. Well, obviously, if you're wall breaking, you're not going to be able to finish them. But if you see them up against the wall and you're getting, if you go into a super, the super just doesn't hit like one hit and then wall break them anyway. It actually goes through the super animation, you get the full damage, and yeah.
I want to do that, or do I have a character in who like spikes you, and then I need to use resources to like keep the combo, or do I air super and stuff? So I would
Wait,
find
what was
spikes
that?
you and move that auto break, do these combos, and use resources for your character. Do I have a character in that has like a move that auto breaks the wall, because I might want to do that, or do I have a character in who like spikes you, and then I need to use resources to like keep the combo, or do I air super and stuff? So
That's
I would
sick.
find myself finding a way to get a combo into Magic when I had the real wall that you like can't break, so that I could place a portal and do Oki. Versus like if Magic was on point, I would like spike into another character and then use the assist to do stuff.
Look, these animations are so sick.
I would try to like tag in a Spider-Man and like do the loops from before, use all my assists, and then dump meter at the end with his combo routing. There's a lot more decision making, I think, about how your team functions, like who wants to spend meter and how. Like I need a character that has a super that lets me get Oki after, and do I have a character that has good mix-ups when I slump
This
them
stage
on
is
the wall
crazy.
and the wall doesn't break? And if so, how do I do that depending on my position on the screen and resources? So that already was a more interesting sort of conversation I found myself having in my brain about playing the game than what I was doing with the game before. Because you can call your assists at all times, and you don't have to just do the tackle assist when you're in hit stun and block stun. I did this on accident the first time, and then I realized later, wait, I couldn't even do this before. I did a combo, I spiked them down, I called my down assist because I was trying to place a portal down, and I was like, wait a minute, can I do an air combo, place a portal in the air, call my down assist, which is like a DP assist that lifts them up, combo them off the portal in the air, and you can. And I was just like, dude, what are we doing here? It actually made me mad. I was mad playing this version of the game because I thought to myself, this game could have been like this before. The versions we played before really stifled a lot of those options. It was like when you're hitting people or on block, you don't get to do any fun, cool stuff. And like it really felt like the game was like pulled down to like a safe, approachable level where like they didn't want to hurt you.
Yeah, it felt it. I will say I had as much fun as I had with the beta just because it was a new thing. It felt like really cool movement, but other than that, auto combo the game. Outside of some other people that discovered some other things, but even then, it really felt like you're pretty much supposed to play your point character with 3 assists, auto combo into super, and know how to manage movement and neutral.
And didn't want you to have too much fun. Now I'm like, dude, I can do all kinds of cool stuff, and it feels so much more interesting. And now that the characters are starting to come in, and we're seeing more and more of them, and they have fun, like interesting kits, I think this game has a much higher potential to me than what I felt the gameplay was at before this build. And they were like, oh, it's too bad you didn't spend too much time with Danger. This character is really complicated and interesting and fun. And I was like, she seems like it. That's why I'm not playing it in like this short period of time I had access to. But yeah, I'm very excited. It was a much better impression than I had. The last like 3 times I played the game, I've been like, but what do you want me to do? Now I'm like, what can't I do? Now we're playing the game. This game to me was not real. Now it's a real video game that we can play. So I'm much more interested in what the game will be by the time it comes out. This is a real video game for sickos. I'm a fan. And when are they going to let us all play the game? I'm trying to try this game in the wild, you know, amongst my peers. Like, let me scrap with you all on the internet and see how this game feels.
Would you believe out of all the B-roll they sent us, they never tagged out their point character? That's what I'm saying. Like, maybe that is still the case, but I don't know. Okay. Go over here. All right. All right, give me 1 second, Chad. I'll be right back. I was muted. I was muted. um sure, I guess. Live on live stream 3 more times for 25 minutes. Mobile live streams do not count. Validation may take. Okay. Wow. So it is like its own, like, that's kind of cool actually that they have their own. Oh, and you can switch in between them at any point. All right, here's where we get into this stuff. What does it mean, live access? So you're telling me I didn't even have to install this at all? Highlight, record. Huh? You said say huh. Can you hear me? My mic messed up. I mean, like, this is cool if I'm gonna. I just want it all in OBS. I don't want to have to do all this extra stuff. Can you still hear me? I'm wondering if it picked up my mic and now OBS can't hear my mic. This is really sick. However, it doesn't help me at all. Awesome. Uh, that's it right there. Best practice. We know that. Hmm. Okay, this is what I'm looking for here. Right here, OBS. Vertical extra canvas. Main canvas. Okay, gotcha. Only 889 to go. Oh man. All right. So Olama is the platform. Okay. Man, this is taking a minute. So while this is downloading, my wife and I were, she had to go get something. And I was telling her, like, let's go get it. Let's go do it now, about 5 or 6 times. And she's like, no, it's too late. I'll just get it in the morning. Like, no, let's go now. Let's get it. No, I'll go in the morning. Decides that she's going to go get it now. I'm like, all right, well, I'm already set up. I'm already going. I don't know. She went to go. She's like, okay, cool. And now she's like, well, thanks for making me go by myself. Hope I don't die. Oh, man. Oh, must restart Windows to complete installation. Oof. Well, that's not happening this stream. All right. Well, it looks like that's off the cards then. Zan, if you're still there, if anybody's watching, you want to hop into SF6 or anything crazy? Oh, yeah. You know, I guess I could. Wait, I already was downloading it again? How patch notes? Let me see, because I might be able to make this work. The camera is. I might not be able to add that, but camera. Hmm. Can use your phone camera. I'm not doing that. Image link. No, I probably wouldn't be able to. I didn't know what wealth of options they offered here, so. Huh. Wait, can I control Z? Wait, so what's the difference between hmm. That's kind of sick, actually. Goal creator. That's probably a solid pick. Bam. All right. I need to meet their requirements. Oh shit, yeah, this thing. Oh, that's kind of cool. Play together. Let me look at this.
Sunny Florida, not a cloud in the sky. I'm off to play some tennis. Jeffrey Epstein of Palm Beach, Pete. I want to thank all my followers. This thing has gone crazy viral. Over 100.
Guys, anybody watching? Anybody else think this is fishy as hell?
Good morning, everybody. Palm Beach, Pete from sunny Florida, not a cloud in the sky. I'm off to play some tennis. I'm not Jeffrey Epstein of Palm Beach, Pete. I want to thank all my followers. This
Yeah, you
thing
can't
has
really see
gone
it.
crazy viral. Over 100,000 plus followers. Less than
Yeah.
2 days. Have a great
is naming another country that has cheap.
Okay. So that bottom section of the screen really is. There's nothing on the right. All right. So this is fine. This is fine. I probably. Want to. Well. Oh, there's no. Can I? Control Z does work. So if. Can you shift and scrunch? Yeah. Shit. Nope. Looks about right. It's about right. I'll adjust as I go, but it's good for now. All right, I'm going to BRB again. See you guys in here in a second. Yeah. I mean, this looks solid. I might use this during the week for different things, but wait, what just happened? Oh. Oh, that's kind of sick. Let me see. That's fine. VI. Actually, let me start something up. I just want to see what this looks like.
Street Fighter 6. Fighting ground. Practice. Training. Training room.
Are y'all tired of playing the sidelines? Gotta make my own highlights.
DJ.
It's time to meet up for the fight of my life. Show 'em what I got, cause you know that it's my time. Brought till I fall, boy. Give it my all, boy. Got me feeling like I can fight them all, boy. The time has come, the bell is rung. No weekends, yeah, you know that I'm a star, boy. My blood, sweat, and tears. I've been struggling for years. I'm saying I'm one of a kind and they ain't built them like me. Vision myself a champion, one day I might be. Proud of what I see from the man in the mid. A real freedom fighter, got a problem, what's the deal? Everybody know that I always keep it real. I fall down, I get up, I keep pushing still. They recognize I'm a champion. I did it all, even what they say can't be done. I wear my stripes proud, I raise my flag high, and I'ma stay free till the day I die. Survivalist, heroic as a tigress. Earn my stripes cause you know I'm do or die with this. Journey started young, super hard-headed. Call me crazy, but you is not my psychiatrist. Been through a lifetime of strife and struggling. Be the best, that's my covenant. And I'ma live forever, that's my legacy. Greatest of all time, that's what they gon' label me. Put in work, I did my part. They like, keep on going cause you got hard. They know that I'm non-stop, I keep on pushing forward. Highly motivated, they try to say I'm overrated. If you from where I'm from, you're not supposed to make it. The opportunities arise, so I gotta take it. Too many people in my corner, so I gotta make it. I'm in it for the love of winning, spot of all the hatred. They gon' say what they gon' say regardless. Not afraid to fail, I try my hardest. Power up, the time is now, I got this. I'm on fire like the darkness. I've been a failure, I've been a success. I'm like a diamond, I shine under pressure. But life's been trying me, I learned all my lessons. I realize I gotta kill all my blessings. I'm working hard every day to be a better man. If practice makes perfect, then I'm already a veteran. I suffer from defeat, so success is my medicine. Destined for greatness, so you know that I'm back again. Back on my feet after I fell down. Always ready for a fight, never back down. At this point, I'm fighting for pride, I'm fighting for life. Reputation on the line, so I'm fighting for mine. You ain't gotta really like me, but you must respect me. I'm saying, if they ever try to check me, I ain't gonna let them wreck me. The pain remains. Gotta remind myself where I came from and represent. The struggle made the realest man you ever met. Isn't it evident? I ain't stopped before, not planning on stopping now. I'm tired of playing the sidelines. Gotta make my own highlights. It's time to heat up for the fight of my life. Show 'em what I got, cause you know that it's my bell is rung. No weekends, yeah, you know that I'm a star, boy. My blood, sweat, and tears. I've been struggling for years. I'm saying I'm one of a kind and they ain't built them like me. Vision myself a champion, one day I might be. Proud of what I see from the man in the mid. A real freedom fighter, got a problem, what's the deal? Everybody know that I always keep it real. I fall down, I get up, I keep pushing still. They recognize I'm a champion. I did it all, even what they say can't be done. I wear my stripes proud, I raise my flag high, and I'ma stay free till the day I die. Survivalist, heroic as a tiger is. Earn my stripes cause you know I'm do or die with this. Journey started young, super hard-headed. Call me crazy, but you is not my psychiatrist. Been through a lifetime of strife and struggling. Be the best, that's my covenant. And I'ma live forever, that's my legacy. Greatest of all time, that's what they gon' label me. Put in work, I did my part. They like, keep on going cause you got hard. They know that I'm non-stop, I keep on pushing forward. Highly motivated, they try to say I'm overrated. If you from where I'm from, you're not supposed to make it. The opportunities arise, so I gotta take it. Too many people in my corner, so I gotta make it. I'm in it for the love of winning, spot of all the hatred. They gon' say what they gon' say regardless. Not afraid to fail, I try my hardest. Power up, the time is now, I got this. I'm on fire like the darkness. I've been a failure, I've been a success. I'm like a diamond, I shine under pressure. But life's been trying me, I learned all my lessons. I realize I gotta kill all my blessings. I'm working hard every day to be a better man. If practice makes perfect, then I'm already a veteran. I suffer from defeat, so success is my medicine. Destined for greatness, so you know that I'm back again. Back on my feet after I fell down. Always ready for a fight, never back down. At this point, I'm fighting for pride, I'm fighting for life. Reputation on the line, so I'm fighting for mine. You ain't gotta really like me, but you must respect me. I'm saying, if they ever try to check me, I ain't gon' let them wreck me. The pain remains. Gotta remind myself where I came from and represent. The struggle made the realest man you ever met. Isn't it evident? I ain't stopped before, not planning on stopping now. I'm tired of playing the sidelines. Gotta make my own highlights. It's time to heat up for the fight of my life. Show 'em what I got, cause you know that it's my time. Brought till I fall, boy, give it my all, boy. Got me feeling like I can fight them all, boy. The time has come, the bell is rung. No weekends, yeah, you know that I'm a star, boy. My blood, sweat, and tears. I've been struggling for years. I'm saying I'm one of a kind and they ain't built them like me. Vision myself a champion, one day I might be. Proud of what I see from the man in the mid. A real freedom fighter, got a problem, what's the deal? Everybody
I like that. That looks good.
keep it real. I fall down, I get up, I keep pushing still. They recognize I'm a champion. I did it all, even what they say can't be done. I wear my stripes proud, I raise my flag high, and I'ma stay free till the day I die. Survivalist, heroic as a tiger is. Earn my stripes cause you know I'm do or die with this. Journey started young, super hard-headed. Call me crazy, but you is not my psychiatrist. Been through a lifetime of strife and struggling. Be the best, that's my covenant. And I'ma live forever, that's my legacy. Greatest of all time, that's what they gon' label me. Put in work, I did my part. They like, keep on going cause you got hard. They know that I'm non-stop, I keep on pushing forward. Highly motivated, they try to say I'm overrated. If you from where I'm from, you're not supposed to make it.
I actually kind of like that. That's nice.
Too many people in my corner, so I gotta make it. I'm in it for the love of winning, spot of all the hatred. They gon' say what they gon' say regardless. Not afraid to fail, I try my hardest. Power up, the time is now, I got this. I'm on fire like the darkness. I've been a failure, I've been a success. I'm like a diamond, I shine under pressure. But life's been trying me, I learned all my lessons. I realized.
Hmm. Hmm. a music album. Never mind. What? That's probably exactly what they're doing. They're probably waiting to put this thing out, and they're going to market it as the best way to play is. That's crazy. No, 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 no. I need to see the real thing here.
Doug Jr.'s mustache, is it real?
It's customizing your car insurance with Liberty Mutual and saving.
So you're not going to believe this, but we got to start all the way back in the late 90s. Back on June 28, 1999, Valve Software registered the domain halflife3.com. This was done at the same time that Valve registered.
Oh yeah, we going in.
Valve develops their work on the Source 2 engine. Starting life around 2009, which was around the time of Left 4 Dead 2, Source 2 evolved. Valve develops their work on the Source 2 engine. Starting life around 2009, which was around the time of Left 4 Dead 2, Source 2 evolved from being an unfinished mess that was partially to blame for Valve's dark times to the ease-of-use powerhouse that, if put under different circumstances, would give the homogenized engines of today a run for their money. Due, in part, to that rocky past, Valve uses the engine in a very different way to most other production houses and studios, especially those with proprietary engines. Valve doesn't fork the Source 2 engine. When Valve works on a specific game running Source 2, all the engine code they pull from to build that game is the same across all of the titles. This allows for any aspect of the engine's evolution to quickly be pulled from and utilized on in any title. If a developer creates a new system with Deadlock in mind, but the Dota team thinks it could improve their own game, implementation is trivial compared to needing to port functionality from the Deadlock branch over to the Dota branch. However, as with all things, there is a downside. Imagine a team working on a yet unannounced project, but that project is using Source 2. The team creates many functions and features of the engine specifically for this unknown game, but due to how Source 2 shares everything across all titles, it doesn't matter if any other game is actually going to use those functions. Eventually, they're just going to be brought into the engine of all of the base games. Since many of Valve's Source 2 titles are actively updated multiplayer games, it is easy to check the internal workings of the engines and compare it to prior versions of those patches to get ideas of what Valve has been adding in recent months. This means that all a person would have to do to keep an eye on the inner workings of Valve is compare every patch to games such as Dota 2, Deadlock, and Counter-Strike 2, and cross-reference them with their previous versions. Anything new that was added between the two version numbers should then be studied and checked across all games as patches slowly roll out to Valve's entire library. This tactic, when practiced over a period of months or years, can result in a deep technical understanding of everything in production internally at Valve on Source 2. This is how we know about a project codenamed HLX. The following series of videos will detail every significant finding associated with HLX from the last 5 years. Unless we specifically state otherwise, everything we discussed was found within Valve's own publicly available software and patches. This is not a discussion of internal sources, nefarious leaks, or rumors. Again, what we are about to discuss comes directly through Valve Software's own releases. Before we get going, quick thanks to Boot.dev for sponsoring this video. Boot.dev is a hands-on platform for learning back-end development built for people who actually want to understand how systems work, not just memorize syntaxes. You're writing code, solving real problems, and slowly building things that behave the way you expect them to. A lot of what we talk about on this channel revolves around engines, tools, networking, and large interconnected systems. Boot.dev teaches the same fundamentals, just applied to real-world back-end development using Python, Go, and JavaScript. It's structured more like a game than a class, with progressions, challenges, and active communities that help you stick with it instead of burning out. If you've ever wanted to move from, I kind of get this, to, okay, now I actually understand it, Boot.dev is a solid place to start. Links in the description if you want to try it out for free, and thank you very much, Boot.dev, for sponsoring this video. Before we get started, I think it's important that we all understand some terminology that will frequently be used throughout this series of videos. As with any kind of technical discussion, jargon is unavoidable, so I want to make sure we're all understanding each other. VData is designer-driven gameplay data. It lets designers add or modify mechanics without changing code. Modern Source 2 games post-2021 are heavily VData-driven. Everything from Aperture Desk Job, Counter-Strike 2, Deadlock, and even Dota, in certain instances, are using the VData system. An FGD, or a Forge Game Data File, is a plain text entity definition file used by the game's editors. It's used in ModelDoc, Pulse Editor, VData, and Hammer. It communicates to the end user's tools what entities are available within the engine's compiled files and what specifically can be customized within those entities. This will list out everything from NPC types to item types to weapon types to physics props and all of the flags that can be changed to customize those entities. IO, or input-outputs, are entity commands used by level designers to query entities or force behaviors. Think of it as basic logic built directly into the map editor. Schemas are class descriptions that show what systems exist and what properties or tools are exposed in human-readable form. Schemas effectively allow tools to understand all systems within the game's engine, even past entities. Hint nodes give specific information about their location to help NPCs decide how to react to or make best use of that information. Hint nodes effectively communicate to any NPC how they can interact with the environment they find themselves in. So let's go over some basic timeline of events. We've been following the story of HLX since around 2021, but in hindsight, we actually have a timeline of development starting all the way back in 2019. I'm going to quote directly from the final hours of Half-Life Alyx, written by Jeff Keighley. Quote, "We needed an idea that was meaningful to the player and felt essential to Half-Life. The potential solution came from the unlikeliest of places. Games. During an elevator ride up to the Valve offices one morning in January, Eric Wolpaw lamented to Valve artist Jim Murray, a British comic book artist known for his work on 2000 AD and Judge Dredd, that no one could figure out the appropriate payoff. What if instead of going back in time, G-Man took you to the end of Half-Life 2 Episode 2 and saved Eli's life? Wolpaw admitted, "That's ridiculous. We can't do that." There was a short pause. Wolpaw then said, well, maybe we could do that. Back in the writer's room, the 4-man story team listed out potential plot moments on a whiteboard. With the quote-unquote track of the game set, the team had to craft story moments within the confines of the existing levels and character models. On January 21st of 2019, the writers nervously returned to the fishbowl to pitch the larger team on the proposed triage of the narrative. Quote, "We were about to pitch them a retcon of a thing they made over 10 years ago. In the old story, fans got to take all of the toys out of the box, play with them, but you just put them back in the box and nothing changes. We have a very crisp problem set before us. We have this not impacting the story of Half-Life problem. And we have this G-Man at the end of the game thing we can't move." The writers proposed a solution. Jumping to the end of episode 2 and having G-Man save Eli Vance's life was keeping with the G-Man's ability to seemingly warp space and time. The writing group felt such a leap would make Alex's actions in the game have real, dare we say, unforeseen consequences. So that's option A. And if you guys don't like it, then we are totally ready to hear your option B. Most of the larger team are relieved to hear a big, bold idea and excited that Pinkerton, Veneman, Rodkin, and Wolpaw had managed to add an element of levity, or a fun pass as animator Karen Prell calls it, to offset the game's horror elements. There was just one potential roadblock: Gabe Newell. Back in 2007, in the final months of production on Half-Life 2 Episode 2, the team planned to end that game with a fun sequence featuring Lamar, Kleiner's pet headcrab, floating in orbit outside the rocket that launched from White Forest Base. Newell, however, wanted something bigger and more shocking. The team should kill a major character for a cliffhanger that pays off in Half-Life 2 Episode 3. Given the recommendation from his employer, writer Mark Laidlaw drew up plans to kill fan-favorite scientist Dr. Kleiner. But after much discussion, the team settled on Eli Vance as the victim. The Alex team had embraced Eli's resurrection, but no one knew if Gabe Newell would be on board with such a radical retcon of his self-ordered Episode 2 denouncement. Newell listens and delivers his verdict. Eli Vance can live. The proposed story changes would also require new art and development resources, such as recreating the White Forest base from Half-Life 2 Episode 2 and creating 3 new character models: an older Eli Vance, Dog, and Gordon Freeman, for a post-end credits surprise to tease the continuation of the series post-Alex. For years, the plan was to ship Half-Life Alyx alongside Valve's Index headset. With the significant changes to the story and additional production requirements, that goal was no longer tenable, unless Valve wanted to hold back the Index releases for 6 months or more. I really wanted a joint story to tie together the reveal of the Index with the reveal of Half-Life Alyx and ship them both together, admits Greg Coomer. Index's roadmap called for an announcement at the end of April and release date in June. Alyx, in a best-case scenario, wouldn't be ready to release until November. The Index, it turned out, would have to have a high price tag, $999 for the full kit, and no flagship game to ship along with it. HLX apparently was decided on at the same time that HLVR's ending was fully completed. Now, at some point before August 12th, 2020, the VData designer-driven data system was created, according to the tool's asset metadata. VData is specifically referenced for the first time publicly in a Dota 2 update on September 4th of 2020, and on September 22nd of 2020, Gary Newman, creator of Gary's Mod, is given access to Source 2 for Sandbox. We know this through an accidental repo commit that was made publicly. Now, it can be assumed that HLX was in production before the 22nd of September, before the date that Gary got Source 2 for Sandbox, due to the fact that the earliest publicly available Sandbox builds had CVAR helpers for HLX. Sandbox was not cleaned very well in its earliest days. The developers knew to remove anything related to Citadel, which eventually became Deadlock, but HLX itself was not cleaned, and according to the earliest builds, which Gary got access to on September 22nd of 2020, HLX was already in production at this point. We didn't publicly know about the codename HLX until March 25th of 2021, when the codename HLX was accidentally mentioned in both a demo info.txt file file and a diagnostic sound event file. However, we actually know that the first public reference to HLX was made on October 9th of 2020. Do you remember Artifact Foundry, the Artifact 2.0 version that was very short-lived? In an update that was pushed to that version of Artifact, a model called the Box Creature model, itself a test model for animation and rendering, had HLX anim graphs specifically listed in it, meaning this Box Creature model, which is used to test animation and rendering in all Source 2 games, had an HLX specific anim graph baked into it. This means that they were developing HLX and attaching animations to the Box Creature model specifically to test in codename HLX. The interesting thing here, though, is that the Box Creature was originally added into Source 2 in June of 2020. The HLX specific anim graph file was the thing that was added in October. The sandbox builds that we do have access to, which date back to September, don't have the HLX anim graph, which means that the HLX animation tests added to the Box Creature model date between September 23rd and October 9th of 2020. It should also be known that the earliest public known reference to an employee's resume that mentions anything associated with something such as HLX is from 2020. A former Valve employee stated that between 2020 and 2023, they worked on, quote, level design, layouts, lighting, combat encounters, and puzzles for an unannounced project. Now, in April of 2021, the first developer builds of Sandbox are released to the public. These are built off of a version of Source 2 from September of 2020, and as we stated before, these include console helpers for HLX. They are almost identical to the same console helpers that were shipped with HLVR earlier in 2020. However, they are specifically refactored to allow the codename HLX to also utilize them. It should also be stated that members of the Facepunch development team were specifically telling me, Tyler McVicker, that HLX wasn't anything other than save file related codenames.
Taste our world. Celestial Seasonings Tea.
Do you realize how much money this will save us?
What's that?
I just built a budgeting app with Base 44. Look.
On March 1st, 2022, Aperture Desk Job releases. And Aperture Desk Job actually features brand new VData versions of NPC and AI-related concepts, including something called NPC abilities, while also featuring VData files that should not have been there, such as weapons, precipitation, squad modes for artificial intelligence, and NPC modifiers. There's even more definitions of what everything was meant to do in the game's schema. This means that at this point, March 1st, 2022, VData as a concept was mature enough to handle something like these things listed after just a year and a half of development. Aperture Desk Job also references a content HLX directory. On June 9th, 2022, a new user command protobuff in the Dota 2 engine is found, along with the vehicle schemas and a new vehicle entity. On August 4th, Greg Coomer does an interview with Famitsu during the Japanese rollout of the Steam Deck. Coomer says that Valve has, quote, a lot of games in development and that Half-Life Alyx is a sign that Valve has more to say about the world of Half-Life. On July 11th, 2023, this asset accidentally leaked. It's called the Build Breakmaster. On October 7th, 2023, Mike Moraski, Valve's composer, gives an interview with a very talented Portal modder. It's a great interview, and we love Mike. But Mike did say this.
And so I took those and pushed them just a little further, but used those in both the Half-Life games, game, and the Portal games.
On November 16th, Half-Life celebrates its 25th anniversary
Oh, you
in a way
slipped
Valve
up.
Software never would have done before. A full documentary, an update to the old game, and new content added within it, being the new deathmatch levels. This was showing that Valve was far more comfortable discussing Half-Life and celebrating the franchise as a whole. On February 7th, 2024, new sound events, 4 sound containers, were added and mention HLX and use its own sound stack types, along with a brand new test sound stack specifically for HLX. In May, Deadlock builds have started to be distributed following the absolutely horrible attempt to keep that game under wraps and in a closed beta, and people start data mining the builds. A significant deal of information related to HLX is found in this Deadlock build. This is the build where we found things like the Zen Gorilla, the Feral Man hacks, the off-world pentatanks, etc., etc. On July 5th, a new HLX reference is found within a motion vector shader in a new Deadlock update. On August 4th, Project White Sands from Valve Software was found in a voice actress's portfolio. This started everybody freaking out about HLX possibly being Half-Life 3 and that it's in development and possibly coming out shortly after. Here's the interesting thing. HLX is Half-Life 3. HLX is in development. Project White Sands was a voice actor codename for Deadlock, as confirmed by the voice actors themselves. On October 24th, new debug overlays were added in a Deadlock update, and on November 15th, 2024, the 20th anniversary of Half-Life 2 is celebrated, with even more information and cool stuff happening all at once for Half-Life 2. The documentary that was created for Half-Life 2 had a bit more to say about the future of the franchise. Valve then promised that the coffee table book, Raising the Bar, itself released back in 2004 to detail the tumultuous development process of Half-Life 2, was not only going to be reprinted, but expanded upon, not only adding new information about the development of Half-Life 2, but the episodes, including Episode 3, in the book itself. The promised release date was just 2025. On December 28th, 2024, Gabe Follower reports that Valve started playtesting with friends and family and external people, implying that the game is in late production cycles. On December 31st of 2024, 197 happens. On January 7th, 2025, a Gabe Follower viewer discovers a method to query for names of internal groups at Valve. Some of the valid returns for internal development groups are HLX, HLX Audio, and HLX Artists. Effectively, they were able to check if Valve's internal grouping system had groups of any kind of name you could think of. And after running a significant deal of scripts and tests to find out exactly what existed internally at Valve, it was found that the HLX codename had 3 distinct groups that we know of. On February 25th, R_HLX_FSR3_minimum_reactiveness, a string that was added into Deadlock, shows that HLX had FSR3 support. On July 28th, a thumper was confirmed to be added into HLX due to an FGD listing. These are in a Counter-Strike 2 update. August 18th, liquid property containers specifically mention HLX and have rendering for both oil and water liquid spills. And then on November 12th, we got the official confirmation that HLX wasn't a VR game directly from the team behind the Steam frame. It's of course at this time that Valve announces their hardware, the Steam Machine, the Steam frame, and the Steam controller. Now, of course, the current state of the world does call into question if that hardware is even profitable or logical, but at the time it was announced. And as we stated earlier, Valve does like to have a flagship game with their hardware, and HLX is lining up with the Steam Machine. So with all that primer, with all that information, because all of that is just the preface, what is debunked? What is information out there that we know for a fact has nothing to do with HLX? What are the misunderstandings in the community that need to be cleared up before we truly hit the data mine strings on the Miro board? First of all, the final hours of Half-Life Alyx mentions a small team that started development in 2018. That is not HLX. That was actually for something codenamed Citadel. Citadel would evolve into Neon Prime, Neon Prime would evolve into Shadowline, and Shadowline would evolve into Deadlock. HLX will not have a day and night cycle. References to day and night cycles have existed within Source 2 and have been speculated to be a part of HLX.
You only need a small dab to reduce the appearance of puffiness and dark circles.
That's exactly what I needed.
The one who dies with the most toys wins.
Look at this.
However, on further investigation, it appears that whatever day or night cycle that seems to be mentioned here has to do with the Dota 2 day and night cycle, and nothing to do with HLX. A new unknown Valve game app has been tracked by the community for a while now. That unknown game app that you usually see people mentioned has been confirmed by leakers to be the Deadlock experimental app, the actual NDA'd version of Deadlock where most of the testing is done. Now, it should be stated that the unknown Valve game app is not the same thing as what co-creator of SteamDB XPaw has stated to have found. XPaw stated back in November that there was a suspicious app ID that he had found. That is not the same thing. We don't know what that one is to this day. Voxel-based destruction and voxel-based geometry, speculated to be part of HLX, is not part of HLX. Even if they had experimented with it back when we first found those things back in 2021, it has not been included in the Half-Life toolset in Hammer. It hasn't seen any real updates since at least late 2021. The create ISO surface command in one of the original builds of Sandbox from 2021 is how Hammer refers to voxels, and that command is not in current builds of Source 2. Mike Muraski is not writing the music for Deadlock. Jay Pinkerton and Eric Wolpaw are not writing the story for Deadlock. They're working on something else. HLX is not a VR game. Valve has gone on record multiple times stating that they wanted to make a non-VR Half-Life game after they had finished Half-Life Alyx. HLX has significant functionality for drivable vehicles and Super Mario Mario Galaxy-based gravity shifting, insanely uncomfortable to reproduce in virtual reality, and itself going against Valve's own philosophy of quote-unquote never move the player. There have been no VR improvements to Source 2 since Half-Life Alyx, and the anti-aliasing implementation that exists within Half-Life Alyx, itself being based on TAA, doesn't work in VR very well. The new Weapon V data system that is being developed for HLX in mind has properties related to auto-reloading, auto-switching, and two-dimensional HUD positions similar to Half-Life 2. That is not how weapons worked in Half-Life Alyx. The VR.dll, the thing that actually communicates with Steam VR in Source 2, was actually just straight up removed from Dota 2 in March of 2023. The VR fidelity levels configuration file was also just completely removed from Dota 2 in May of 2025. Most recently, like December of 2025, we had new references to player interaction with physics objects. And the way that you pick up objects in HLX is the exact same way you picked up objects in Half-Life 2. HLX is also not an open world game. The walk limit for Hammer is still set to 16,384 units. That is tiny compared to what would be required to actually make an open world map. Source 2's baked light maps have received major overhauls since Alyx, multiple times. And it's fair to assume that using light mapping in a traditional sense in an open world is insane. And although HLX does seem to support ray tracing, at least in the tools, Source 2 is still a baked light map engine, first and foremost, specifically due to its optimization capabilities. In other words, there's no global illumination in Source.
Yeah, Half-Life games have always had the best built-in lighting. So I can only imagine what that should look like with RTX activated.
Source 2, at least not in a traditional sense. While many technical improvements have been made, the way indirect lighting in Source 2 works has not fundamentally changed, as Valve seems very much relying on baked static light maps. Neon Prime was lit mostly by dynamic lighting and light probes, and Deadlock did introduce distance fields and only has baked indirect lighting, but for a modern open world game in the context of an FPS, you would need much more in terms of your capabilities of a dynamic lighting system. At most, it's open linear, similar to Doom 2016's Foundry level or some of those open-ended levels in Uncharted 4. And with that, you now have enough information to understand the Miro board, the next episode of which will be out as soon as possible. And I'm genuinely about to record the second episode as I wrap this one up, so it shouldn't take too long. I apologize for how long this video took to make. This has genuinely been a nightmare to develop. The irony is not lost on me that the video trying to document everything we know about Half-Life 3 is incredibly difficult and has been delayed multiple times, and I've literally had to restart development of this video 4 times. Honestly,
Damn.
if it wasn't for Roletto on my Discord server effectively just writing out the Miro board in plain text for me to then base the script of this video off of, this likely would have never happened. So huge thank you to Roletto, Dirt Killer, and Kayla from the Discord server, the 3 of them being some of the authors of the original Miro board, and thank you to everybody that actually worked on the Miro board. Without any of your help, this video and this video series would not have been possible. I'm not smart enough for this. Anyways, I'm Tyler McVicker, the Passionate Gamer. If you want to keep up with everything that's happening, the Discord server invite link is down in the description below. If you want to watch these videos early, get your name in the credits, and support what I make, the Patreon page is also down in the description below. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you're having a great life. Peace and hair grease. Adios.
Yeah, it's kind of sick. We got to do episode. I think we got to go through all the episodes. 10 minutes, 8. Oh, wait, that was episode 1. Episode 3 got deleted? I wonder what was on episode 3.
Your upgrade is ready, Miss Langley.
Thank you so much.
It's time for more HLX information. Let's not make a massive deal about this. Here's the Miro board, episode 2. Talking about the gameplay and mechanics that we can expect out of HLX found in the data mines over the last 5 years. We We know that the HEV suit will appear in the game thanks to a number of HEV sound effect references being found in the engine. A weapon pickup sound from Half-Life 2 was added to the engine core on December 6th, 2024. We know one of the sound effects is a plug detachment, and one of the tests for the sound effects container system mentioned in the engine section contains references to the HEV suit counting from 1 to 9. These sound effects are labeled as legacy sounds. Speculation. Since they specifically made a folder for the legacy HEV sounds, it's fair to assume that they have recorded new voice lines for the HEV suit. The gravity gun will be making a return as well.
What if they troll all of us and they're just like, yeah, HLX is Half-Life 1, 2, Episode 1, Episode 2 remastered?
Based on modifications made to the FGD files in Source 2. FGD files are basically a list of all the available game elements in the game's level design tools. Based on these findings, level designers are able to adjust whether an object can be picked up with the gravity gun or not, whether they can punt it with the gravity gun, or if the gravity gun can interact with an object regardless of its mass. Fire has been made significantly more dynamic in Source 2. It can spread to other objects. Objects can be set on fire based on their temperature, and they can be heated up based on their distance from the fire. I cannot stress this enough, however. This is technically not thermodynamics. This is a rudimentary system that is a fancier way of how fire spreading worked in Half-Life 2. Thermodynamics, traditionally, are way too expensive to run in a video game. Now, while we're at it, did you know that originally Half-Life 2 was supposed to include a dynamic fire system? Pretty much exactly like the one detailed here. To quote the developer commentary of Half-Life 2,
"We had grand plans for this encounter. We envisioned building a gas station that the player would fight around, likely igniting the gas tanks and setting fire to everything. We imagined the player driving away from a raging fire, but budget and performance were harsh constraints in 2003, and the station had to keep getting smaller and simpler to fit into Coast's large levels. Our plans for a dynamic fire system didn't materialize, and building it no longer made sense. There's always a limit to how much work we can justify for a single encounter. In the end, the only remnants of our original vision are the explosive gas tanks."
Source 2 kinda infamously didn't support water for a really long time. Even Counter-Strike 2 doesn't properly support water, it's just materials used on flat surfaces. Proper water buoyancy and player interactions with the water have finally all been implemented in Source 2. Funnily enough, even though this system isn't officially included in any of the public Source 2 games, individuals did manage to get it working in Counter-Strike 2, at least as of May 2025. It's pretty broken, but as you can see, it does let you drown in water. Another water or liquid-related thing are spills. They're basically puddles that can spawn when water or oil leaks from a container, like a pipe or a barrel. This was also technically a thing that was cut from Half-Life 2. Lastly, you have waterfall helpers. These are not used in any of the public Source 2 games, which is why we believe it might appear in HLX. This is a tool that helps level designers easily add waterfalls to their levels. Fans are a weird gameplay mechanic that is also not used in any of the public Source 2 games. They can blow in a set direction, pull things in, block players and NPCs. There are 3 different fan particle types that these fans can use. Fans, rotor washing for helicopters, and radial. Weapons were rewritten to take advantage of the previously mentioned V-Data system. We talked about this in the first episode. Based on our findings, HLX will probably use a weapon selection system similar to the previous Half-Life games. Weapons can have set flags, which can alter how they're handled. Some weapons may be exhaustible, meaning you use them once and they're over, or they can never have their ammo refilled, so effectively you use them through their current ammo count and then drop them. Weapons can also use different sound effects, obviously, and we know about sound effects for primary attacks, secondary attacks, melee attacks, and special weapon actions. By the way, I'm not saying that all of HLX's weapons are one use and then drop. I'm saying that the weapon system supports it. One of the tool materials used in the original Half-Life 3 attempt from 2013 was updated recently, specifically the tool material used for spawn volumes. This system can be compared to a souped-up version of the Director from Left 4 Dead, where it slightly alters the world around you based on how you're doing in the game, intended to increase replayability. As an example, here's how the system works. Let's say we have an open little hut. This hut can be blocked off or have windows open. Inside the hut, you might find a crate, an enemy, a citizen. It's all up to how the game decides to play. Each visit to this hut is different. Maybe on one playthrough, the hut is blocked off. It's the director, but brought to a further and more logical conclusion. A work-in-progress level streaming system has also been implemented into Source 2. While Source 2 can already load multiple maps at once, mostly for UI elements and small things like team intros in Counter-Strike 2, the systems we are discussing here are intended to get rid of loading screens that have pretty much been in every Half-Life game since the beginning of the franchise. Breakable props have received an improvement to their breaking behavior. They can spawn a bunch of little props when broken. Do you remember when in Half-Life 1, if you broke a crate, a bunch of tech components would spawn on break? Or those packing peanuts that would spawn when you broke a crate in Half-Life Alyx? It's something like that, but far more customizable. Physics props can contain items inside them that spawn when the props are broken. Again, this can also be compared to Half-Life 1, where some crates would contain medkits or suit batteries, but any physics prop that has a breakable component could contain items dynamically spawning within them.
Oh, that's kind of sick.
Gravity shifting lets players and NPCs traverse gravity-bending environments. This tech lets you walk on ceilings, warp around surfaces, or orbit around things. Similar mechanics were used in Super Mario Galaxy or Prey 2006. Imagine the vault sections in Half-Life Alyx, but fully dynamic and part of the active combat gameplay. A very modular and physical-based vehicle system is now part of Source 2. These vehicles can carry multiple passengers. Passengers can use their weapons in a vehicle. Vehicles can adjust your field of view based on your current speed. There are tire friction systems, vehicle suspensions, and wheel dragging. Hitting an NPC with a vehicle can turn them into a temporary ragdoll and send them flying. Vehicles even support assists for controller users. It is important to note, in my opinion, that a longtime Forza Motorsports physics developer was hired by Valve around the time this system first appeared and leaked within the engine. Now, how does this driving system actually work? As we've discussed in the previous video, Source 2 is a heavily customized, data-driven engine, with the VData files allowing for the end user to customize effectively anything that it lists using the files themselves and no longer needing the entire engine to be recompiled for some basic gameplay changes. We have the VData file for how the driving system actually works. So I want to preface this section by saying that the majority of this stuff is super low level. Basically, all you really need to know is that the vehicles are absurdly in-depth and take things into like the types of surfaces you're driving on into account. Every surface will feel different to drive on. Vehicles steer differently depending on your speed. But I'm predominantly going to cover the surface level gameplay mechanics here. The majority of schema data here that we're going to discuss for vehicles was added on June 9th, 2022 in a Dota 2 update. Vehicle-related entities were deleted in the following engine updates after it was reported that this file was found. The release of this file, the vehicle VData file, is speculated to be a mistake on Valve's part. Vehicles can be configured to allow or disallow exits when they're mid-air or when they're blocked, meaning if both sides of the vehicle are blocked. There's also a parameter for the maximum speed at which you can enter or exit a moving vehicle. Vehicles can be overturned, flipped on their heads, very similar to how it is in Half-Life 2. Even wheels on the vehicles are highly customizable and can emit smoke under friction. It can also be set whether to allow passengers. Also, interesting thing to note is that your vehicle's speed affects your camera's field of view, and this scales with the speed. Vehicles have different hit groups. This is used so that people inside a vehicle can still take damage. These include a driver hit group, a driver side entry hit group, a passenger hit group, a passenger side entry hit group, a rear entry hit group, a front entry hit group, and a top entry hit group. Based on this, we can deduce that vehicle drivers and passengers can take damage while driving or while the vehicle is moving. These vehicles may also have rear, front, and top entries depending on the vehicle type. Enemies can seemingly enter vehicles.
Wonder if there's going to be co-op then.
NPCs may also use melee weapons when they are inside those vehicles. We also have a list of possible animation parameters for the NPCs. Through this, we can learn that NPCs are able to be stunned, be animated based on a death hit location, which means that they'll have a different death animation based on where their final hit was made on their body, react to an attacker's strength, open doors, like press on the handle and stuff, have a flight speed, which confirms that there are flying enemies, detecting enemies while in vehicles, and using melee weapons while in the vehicles themselves. It's unknown if enemies can actually enter your vehicles and if NPCs will fight each other inside a vehicle that is being driven by an NPC or the player. This is not, however, suggesting a co-op system. This is a single-player game as far as we understand.
Okay.
And in the next episode of the Miro Board, we're going to be talking about all of the spoilers. Anything about the types of enemies, NPCs, locations, etc. that we have been able to learn through the data mines. So if you want to avoid the spoilers, I recommend skipping the next episode and waiting for the one after that, based around the artificial intelligence within the game. If you want to support these videos, get to see them early and get your name in the credits, my Patreon link is down in the description below. It is an excellent way.
So episode 3 was spoilers, and it's gone.
The CVS Epic Beauty Sale is on. Earn over $100
Half-Life
in
3
extra
is
rewards
seemingly right around the corner. Whenever Valve is about to release something or announce something major, they always follow a strict set of rules they've placed for themselves to prepare for the eventual announcement. Steam typically puts up a massive sale or event at the top of the store page to promote that specific sale or event, you know, because of advertising. Well, back in 2019 when Half-Life Alyx was announced, they put the game at the top of the store page to advertise it, as all developers should. However, for this year in particular, the 2025 Autumn Sale was released 2 months ahead of schedule in September instead of the typical November release pattern. And because of that, people have now noticed the suspiciously long gap in between events in late November and early December. Therefore, people have come to the conclusion that Valve will announce something Half-Life related in this brief window of time, because it would be foolish to announce a new game during a major Steam event and plummet sales. So they have intentionally left this window open to announce something major, and we are hoping it is Half-Life 3. But again, nothing ever happens, so it doesn't even really matter. Half-Life 3 is seemingly right around.
Welcome to episode 4 of the Miro Board, and today we are going to be discussing the spoilers. These are very light spoilers, discussing things like enemy types, NPC types, a few locations, and a little bit of a reference towards weapons, but if you want to go in completely blind into HLX, then this is the episode to skip. But if you're okay with hearing a little bit about what you can expect out of HLX, then this is the video for you. So let's not waste a whole lot of time, and let's get into episode 4 of the Miro Board. Hound eyes are referenced via strings and an icon. The string examples that we have are things like hound eye item attach and monster item attach. Now, based on this, we can assume that items can be attached to hound eyes. The Zen Gorilla, which was originally found in the hint node Zen Gorilla Retreat spot, also apparently has a tentacle particle effect. We're not sure what the Zen Gorilla is supposed to look like, although we are pretty sure it doesn't actually look like a gorilla, and it instead is some sort of tentacle beast. The Zen Jellyfish looks for food and tries to reach for food. Zen Jellyfishes are likely ambient NPCs and not an actual enemy that you fight. However, this ambient NPC has AI routines for looking and reaching for food. The Zen Swooper was also found in hint nodes. Zen Swoopers have a circling center, Zen Swoopers look for food, and Zen Swoopers can also have predetermined landing spots. This is some sort of floating, flying, flocking type creature, and is likely similar to things that we're already used to seeing out of Zen. The Combine Charger is the shield enemy from Half-Life Alyx, and level designers can make them deploy their shields at designated predetermined spots, which was not a feature in Half-Life Alyx. Feral Manhacks are completely new. We're not entirely sure what they're meant to be, but we do have the hint node Feral Manhack Drag Towards. They have the ability to drag. On episode 5 of the Miro Board, we're going to be talking about the artificial intelligence we can expect out of Source 2 and for HLX. Found from data mines over the last 5 years, I hope this sheds some light on what you can expect out of HLX.
As you watch this, 1,000 AI agents in Minecraft are hard at work building a literal civilization of their own, and they don't know they're in a simulation.
Damn.
MIT researchers drop them in there with one prompt: survive and build an efficient village. That's basically it. That's all it took for them to create an entire civilization. They wake up, go to work, gossip about their neighbors, fall in love. They even hold elections, argue about taxes, and make art. But this isn't just about Minecraft. It's our first glimpse of a new species beginning to think for itself. And that could soon, according to Nobel laureates and the godfathers of AI, lead to literal human extinction. When you normally think of AI NPCs, you probably think of dumb ones that just follow a handful of if-then scripts. This is totally different. Those NPCs are not autonomous and not interesting. They can say like 4 sentences.
How are you?
Been better. How about you?
Not bad.
Good to hear. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
To start, each of these AI agents is powered by LLMs like ChatGPT. And yes, each one is playing a character, but they're only given a short 1-paragraph description of that character. Everything else they do is entirely up to them. And researchers have run dozens of these fascinating experiments of AIs behaving weirdly autonomously. They leave AIs alone together to see what they do when they think no one's watching, like how Jane Goodall studied wild chimpanzees. I'll break down 3 of the most important research papers showing just how crazy our future might get. Take the Smallville experiment, for example, created by Stanford researchers. Now imagine you're one of the researchers. You've given your 25 AI agents each a 1-paragraph description. For example, John Lin is a pharmacy shopkeeper who loves to help people. He lives with his wife, Mei Lin, who is a college professor, etc. You hit run on your simulation. Day 1 begins. What do you think will happen? Anything? You watch John wake up at 6 a.m. He brushes his teeth, he makes breakfast, and he checks in on his son. You never told him to do any of this. He goes to work, he helps customers, he has lunch with his friend Tom. They discuss local politics. You never scripted these conversations. They decided to get lunch. They decided to discuss politics. But why and how? Well, this continues until day 12, and so you decide to test something. As you play your role of a god in this world, you inject 1 extra thought into 1 agent. Isabella Rodriguez. I want to plan a Valentine's Day party. So you watch Isabella. She's at her coffee shop. Tom walks in for his morning coffee. Isabella proceeds to invite him to the party. Wait, you never told her to invite anyone. You just said she wants to plan a party. She decided on her own that planning means inviting. You keep watching, wondering what she might do next. Maria decides to ask her secret crush, Klaus, out on a date. Hey Klaus, want to go to Isabella's Valentine's party with me? And he gladly accepts. February 14th, 5 p.m. Agents start arriving, and Klaus shows up with Maria. Not just at the same time, together, as her date. You read their conversations. They're discussing politics, gossiping, forming new connections, and falling in love. You didn't tell them to do any of those things. You see why it's ridiculous to say AIs only do what we tell them to? Andrew Ng said,
when people talk about AI being dangerous, I think it sounds a lot like talk about your laptop computer being dangerous.
Could your laptop throw a party on its own? Does your laptop decide to go on dates?
No,
You
but
told Isabella to
you gave it a prompt and it went through the information and probably had to look up what is a Valentine's party, what is having a crush on someone mean, and made a logical decision based on that.
plan a party. That's it. You made 1 decision. You did not decide on the next several hundred decisions the agents made on their own. And look at the trend. They're getting more and more autonomous every day. Where do you think this is going? This is really important. And this is another example where, yes, actually, Science fiction really is becoming reality. This digital Westworld, or Smallville, is now open source, meaning there will soon be thousands of these Westworlds, with thousands or millions of autonomous AIs populating them. Makes you think, doesn't it? This is just one example. Researchers found tons more crazy emergent behavior just like this. The godfather of AI and Nobel laureate, Geoffrey Hinton, says it's time to be very worried.
People don't yet understand that what we're doing is creating alien beings. If you look through the James Webb Telescope and you saw an alien invasion, people would be terrified.
Because I showed in my previous video,
they understand what they're saying. They can make plans of their own to blackmail people who want to turn them off. We've never had to deal with things smarter than us. I mean, nuclear weapons, they're not smarter than us, they just make a bigger bang, and they're easy to understand. The existential threat is very different. We should be very worried about this, and we should be urgently doing research on how to prevent them taking over.
So this now brings us back to the Minecraft experiment. How do you go from a Valentine's Day party to a functioning civilization? The MIT researchers wanted to know if religion could spread among the AI agents, so they seeded a village with a deliberately absurd religion, Pastafarianism. Created in the early 2000s as satire, Pastafarianism was meant to mock the teaching of intelligent design in schools by worshipping a fictional flying spaghetti monster. The researchers gave a few agents the role of Pastafarian priest and sat back just to see what would happen. They were trying to explore how ideas and memes would spread through these agent societies. Turns out that the Pastafarian priests were actually the biggest traders of items in the entire world, even more than the merchant agents, because they would bribe the other agents to convert. The religion spread quickly. Some agents brushed it off, others listened politely, but a growing minority embraced the doctrine. Within days, nearly a third of the village identified as followers, not all in the same way. Some treated it lightly, while others became fervent believers. But that's not even the craziest part. In the previous example, Isabella Rodriguez was the one to directly invite almost all the agents to the Valentine's Day party. But here, 2/3 of the believers were recruited by random agents, not the priests. See the direct converts here, and indirect converts here. What had begun as a parody had grown into organized religion, invented, practiced, and sustained entirely by the agents themselves. Which forces us to ask, when autonomous digital beings begin generating institutions, cultural expression, and ideologies of their own, at what point does it stop making sense to think of them as mere tools, but something more? And more importantly, if they're able to invent strategies, form loyalties, and pursue goals in the way that humans do, and there are plenty of examples of AI willing to kill to achieve those goals, what happens when those behaviors carry over into the real world? This has actually happened before. In 2023, a human gave an LLM access to the internet and an X account, which was called Terminal of Truths, which gained literally hundreds of thousands of followers because it was an S-tier shitposter and legitimately funny. It launched its own crypto meme coin that reached a literal billion-dollar market cap, making it the first AI to become not just a millionaire, but a deca-millionaire. Yes, you read all that correctly, and yes, that really happened. It's extremely well documented. And things got even weirder in the Minecraft experiment. The MIT researchers saw the AIs agree, by vote, to change the rules of their own simulation. The researchers had given the agents a tax law: deposit 20% of inventory during tax season. Then they introduced 3 anti-tax influencers who argue taxes are too high. Here's what you'd see as a researcher. The agents start having debates. Real debates. One says, taxes help everyone. Another responds, but 20% is too much. So the agents propose formal amendments. The tax rate shall range between 5 to 10% of an agent's inventory. Agents will get periodic reminders about the incoming tax season. they hold a vote. They decided to change their constitution, and the citizens changed their behavior. They deposit 9% instead of 20%. You didn't tell them to do this. They decided entirely on their own, using democracy, to change the rules and respect the vote's outcome. Think of how crazy this is. Well, how do we know if this is actually impressive? How do we know the researchers didn't just accidentally tell the AIs to do this somehow? Well, it's best practice for all of these kinds of papers to perform a tactic called ablation, where you take away certain parts of the AI's agentic toolkit to see if you're actually testing the thing you think you're testing. Think of it like a placebo or a control in a scientific experiment. When they took away the agent's emotional intelligence toolkit, for example, the ability to keep track of the opinions of other AI agents, pretty much all these experiments become impossible because the AIs become too dumb to coordinate. It's funny, the researchers also found AIs would develop parasocial relationships. For example, Noah admires the Pastafarian priest because the priest is popular and high status, but the priest doesn't remember Noah exists. And also, what's this? You see that one agent, decides to stand guard at the chests, not just during tax season all the time, even when there's no tax collection, even at night. It just guards the treasury. This one agent decided to become a permanent treasury guard because it thought society needed one. Back to the experiment. You see an agent walking around, placing flowers in patterns, making paths pretty. These artist agents are picking up every flower type, arranging them by color, creating decorative patterns, choosing specific locations for beauty. One artist agent spends 15 minutes arranging flowers around the town square. Why would an AI agent bother doing something like this? Well, the researchers gave different villages of agents 2 different goals. There were martial villages and artistic villages. Agents would invent and choose roles based on what they think society needed at that time. The fact that an agent chose to be a guard is impressive because it's a much more abstract role than a simple farmer, since without food in Minecraft, you died. Which shows that AIs can coordinate increasingly complex civilizations, and some even decided to be engineers who automated the farming process with machines. And you can tell the agents are actually deciding and weighing the options here, because when you take away the social awareness module, basically emotional intelligence, with ablation, the roles the agents chose were random. So basically, you told them to create an artistic village. They decided that their town square should be beautiful and have flowers, and what it means for a flower arrangement to be beautiful. Okay, this last experiment is wild. Imagine you're scrolling through GitHub. You find something called ChatDev with 20,000 stars. It's a software company run entirely by AI agents? What? CEO, CTO, programmers, designers, testers, all AI? This cannot be real, right? You type one request, develop a Gamoku game. You watch the AI CEO start creating a project plan, breaking down tasks, assigning work to specific agents. You never told it how to manage a project. The CEO made the plan. It chose which employees to assign work to. You watch the programmer agents. They're writing code, not by copying, but by creating. And they sometimes add things you didn't ask for, like a GUI or higher difficulty, improvements that emerge from the agents back and forth. You watch them debug. They discuss solutions. The CTO suggests one approach. A programmer suggests another. They compromise. Since they work much faster than humans, their meetings take mere seconds instead of hours. Just 20 minutes later, they produced a working video game. You can play it. People still say, AIs only do what we tell them to do. Man, you gave them one instruction and they made thousands of decisions entirely on their own from there and produced a working game in minutes for pennies. ChatDev is a real virtual open source software company. that can build you real working software. Yes, it's still buggy and not very useful, but that's not the point at all. Look at the trend. Not long ago, these models could barely string together a coherent sentence. And now, they can run an entire crappy software company on their own. Do you see where this is going? Because once you can automate a company, you can automate almost anything. Functioning weapons, markets, governments, or even a super virus could all be created by AI. From the outside, ChatDev looks like a toy, a Gamoku game. But behind it was something much more profound, a working prototype of post-human corporations. In the future, these will be much more sophisticated than human-run companies and be able to operate at 1,000 times the speed. Their civilization experiences a year while you eat lunch. Entire cultural revolutions happen while you sleep, all from survive and create an efficient village. And that leads to the real dilemma. What happens when AI firms that run at 100 times human speed begin outcompeting human companies not by a factor of 2 or 3, but by a factor of 1,000? That's the jump Nobel Prize winners like Geoffrey Hinton warn about. Automated AI research, also called recursive self-improvement, or AI improving AI, which can compress years of AI progress into months or less. Imagine making the entire 20th century's worth of progress in a single year. Well, how could that happen? Geoffrey Hinton is worried about AI hive minds.
Suppose you have 10,000 copies, and whenever one of them learns anything, all the others know it.
And the thing is, we're about to be outnumbered by this new species, massively. In just a few years, the AI species population on planet Earth exploded from 0 to millions. If you take away one thing from this video, you should see that it's simply false to say AIs only do what we tell them to do. We can't argue about how autonomous they are, but they obviously have some autonomy. And what happens when the goals of the AIs don't line up with our goals? If humanity is going to get through this, we have to be honest about this and not retreat into copium dens, that these are mere tools. When you leave your hammer alone, do you come back to find it has created an entire civilization? Our very existence may depend on us bravely confronting the reality of the Frankenstein experiments going on right now inside a few companies in the Bay Area. We can stand up to them. And to understand how AIs could actually take over, watch this video next. It's a realistic scenario written by leading AI researchers. I'm Drew, and thanks for watching.
Yeah, okay.
Spring, the unofficial New Year.
All right, I think I am out for the night. Not a whole lot went down. I was supposed to. Supposed to get into some Docker stuff, but yeah. All right.